Okay, so there's a couple of things we're going to start with. We had some people leave. I know they're leaving, and I deeply appreciate it when especially they've told me ahead of time. And it isn't just because the dynamic that we're dealing with registers us. Probably, I don't know, different sound frequencies, different color, different textures, different tastes. I don't know. I don't know what their registers are. It's the beauty of a human being as we deal in language. They're actually capable of being metacognitive. I mean, nothing could be more precious than that. Nothing. So I want to talk about time for a moment. When they first told me 10 minutes, my thought plane was, I want to give you all time to absorb the information. That wasn't their thought plane at all. Hence, I was 20 minutes and they were 10. I do not know how to explain this, but I have learned to think in increments of 5. There's no way to explain this in our present reality, but more than likely, thanks, Barbara, more than likely, is that my time or your time? More than likely, the physicists might have some grasp of it, but I don't know if any of us, thanks, Barb, if any of us are physicists. So as I began to bleed into the third topic, which is going to be about time, I realized that I'd gone over the 50 minutes, whereupon they had already, from my perception, they had already felt the, let's see if I can find a word, they had felt what they were after. They felt what they had transmitted. I could feel that for them, the transmission had been received. They have no register, as far as I know, for our present mental mind. That which they would register would only be what we received in the part of our mind that is capable of being metacognitive. And their promise to us is that they will deliver the capacity or increase our capacity, maybe deliver and increase our capacity for our metacognitivity. Okay. So now I understand, because now I know the 50 minutes must be held to account too. So whoever wants to yell at me if I start bleeding over, please do. And the 10 minutes is essential because they don't want time for your other mind to click back in. They don't want you to have time to think about. They really are putting pressure on our collective field. So that's the first thing I wanted to share. And the second thing is I want to talk regarding what we had talked about. Sorry, when I go into state shifts, my body goes from being warm to freezing. I can always tell when my mental processor is shifting to a different state of existing. So I took notes because I knew at some point I was going to be challenged by being able to be focused enough to get the original, what I got from them transmitted after 10 minutes. So the first statement is just to think this, for lack of a better term, is that we humans assign cause and effect. That's the only puzzle. That's the only premise It's like a single statement. It's not going to be investigated. All they're interested in this transmission is time. Well, let's just say time. So we do think things like energy in, energy out as something that has cause and effect. This is a present human thinking. Therefore, I'm in the we part of talking with you right now, not the they, not the I, but the we. So as human beings, we do think it takes time. We do not think that prayer is reciprocal. That's another really good statement. And that what hinders that reciprocation is how human beings hold time and place as past, present, future. It is also what Deb experienced, which is why it fits in this sector of time, is she experienced a biological event that simply shifted the physiological field. Now, if she asked why or what, it would not be something that she would be cognitively capable of at this time, nor probably would any of you, including Tantra. The important part is the experience of, oh, whatever comes next, something shifted, something congealed, something opened up into. The very fact that we need a why or a what, in other words, we need to know in the subject object, we need the object. If we just had the subject and verb, that would be all we needed. And the phraseology, all of which is going to, the more we get into this, the more confusing it's going to get. I promise you. The whole point is to their interest is when they experience your engagement and when they experience your engagement, when they experience in your engagement of communication, whether it's with yourself, regardless of what you think the object of that engagement of communication is, they pick up on it if it's theirs to pick up on. And they, although this they concerns itself with restoring a unified field of which unified fields of which human beings are a part, they don't exclude, because how could they? It's not the thinking. It is not their form of cognition to also exclude that which protects and defends human beings. It's just not their realm. The realm that we're concerning ourselves with in this engagement is the realm of building back paradise, Tantra's word, building back the unified fields within which realities of unity can rise. It is simply impossible for realities of separation to exist there. So the first relationship, oh, one more thing. The other thing that's extremely important when you go into breakout rooms is to be okay and to be able to communicate either nonsensically or upsettedly. Deb Merchant has a tendency to be careful, Jim. There's no sharing publicly. I apologize. Oh, maybe it's to me. Sorry about that. Got it. Thank you. I apologize, Jim. So, hold on, now I got to get back to my head. See, I have to live it to think it, which is a metacognitive dynamic. And then I have to live it enough to be able to metacognitively communicate it. So just give me a minute. So in our present time, perception, first of all, we do not register not the in and out, we register that. We don't register the to and from. Now, you may think that you register to and from because you think it's from you to something, but you don't ask yourself, where did that you doing what you think you're doing or thinking what you're thinking, where did it come from? And that you're assigning it where it came from and assigning where it's going to, which is totally legitimate. That's why sentient intelligence, which deals with imagination, at least it gets sent, received and sent. So there's no you sent without you received. There is no in without out. There's no out without in. It is all reciprocal. And what makes it not look reciprocal or simultaneous is the perception of time. Deb's husband, I'll probably misinterpret it, I'll missay it, but he always talks about faith is the belief that something is already so before it can be seen. And that's true.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Hoped for and not yet seen. So a prayer is always answered because the prayer is the source of the send and receive. A creation template written is always informing the field, and the field is always informing. And what I was informed about was that in my thought plane, I had that it just takes longer for physical matter to produce the visibility or the conscious relationship with something that is not there. That is not where they're coming from. Frankly, even though I can't put it in words, I was standing in the kitchen shortly after I had collapsed from COVID results, and I felt my matter simply no longer be living in the time, cause and effect, simply stopped living in cause and effect. It didn't matter. I wasn't saying, I no longer think that fact my mother beat me is holding on. I am no longer, God, sorry, everybody. It'll get worse as the day goes on, probably. Okay. So my thought plane was not, oh, I finally completed the trauma of my mother beating me. That was not the cause. There was no cause. None. I was standing in the kitchen and my body rewrote its script. So it's clearly paying attention to something I wasn't paying attention to as an I who had cause and effect as a source of weight and illness. Now, there's nothing we can do with this. This brings, there may be, but we don't know what'll happen. The other thing I want to add at this juncture is I want to add that the intent of this retreat is to take everything that occurred regarding Shasta and the Vision Quest and to bring them into a meta point of so above, so below that our systems will be drawing from this day forward. That's for certain. The part that is significant is the engagement of request, that the more metacognitive you become, like, let's take an example. It would be, I have been praying for this a long time, but it hasn't happened. is a problem of receptivity of the information of so above, so below. This is why metacognitive is what we're doing today, because it isn't that you did anything that didn't allow for the simultaneous, I have to keep checking the word, simultaneous reciprocal moment to occur. It's the registers of the metacognition of so above, so below has not been restored. And you can see what it's wreaked. Most of us know the Christian faith. Some of us know the Jewish faith. I don't think we have anybody in the Muslim faith. But in the Christian faith, this loss of reciprocal simultaneous activity of so above, so below led human beings to say that they had sinned. Otherwise, their God would have answered them. Now, that's fine, because they began to do a search and find. What they thought was so they wouldn't sin anymore, like become pure or love their neighbor or be ethical or integrous. But truthfully, that is what you do to get your systems back. Had nothing to do with sin or not sin. It had nothing to do with either or, right, wrong, good, bad. Okay, hold on, I got one more. Yeah, so can somebody open up your mic and tell me what reciprocity is? It's coming in my head all the time. I need somebody to
You
tell me.
just said it, it's reciprocity.
What is reciprocity? Reciprocal.
Yeah, it's the reciprocal, the action of something
Both at
being
both at the
reciprocal.
same
So it's-
time?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, because they keep giving me reciprocal, but I mean reciprocity, but I keep going to the law word for reciprocity.
It's like back at you.
What?
It's like back at you,
Okay,
back to you,
back
to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's
But
yeah,
it's also about equality.
okay. Oh God, I got chills on all three. Okay, great. So everything they said is what's trying to be communicated, and I kind of got stuck in my own interpretation. Okay, everybody. So imagine what you can't imagine. That's the request of they. Imagine that anything you think is reciprocal and simultaneous. And that if your registers means your operating system, not how you think or what you think, that's why earlier it was stated that those of you that have persistently done creation exercises and worked like in the template parties and used them a long period of time, notice that you don't have as much reactions in the area of reciprocity or simultaneousness, that there seems to be less of a mental structure of, I wonder if it will happen, or I wonder if it will happen, or I wonder if I don't know, wrote it right, for lack of a better term. And if anyone has that experience of reciprocity and simultaneousness, would like to share it, just open it up and struggle with language and go for it. So it all boils down to restoring registers. So over first of all, my first vision quest was somewhere after 1989. And as 12 groups of people walked the land, part of what was being restored was the so above sober relationship between Earth and out there, the rest of it, and down there too, all of Earth and all of the cosmos. And so all those times that I just set you loose and told you to go meander, to not have an intermittent, I don't know if some of you remember, but you would say, well, when's lunch? And I would say, I don't know. Some of you may remember you got pretty pissy about it, and that I didn't give you a schedule. All of that was this. All of that was this. That when you got a hit, when all of a sudden you were part of something that you couldn't explain and it stopped you cold, and you don't remember anything, you were immobilized. That was this. The Mimsy Project, us going back. I remember one particular thing. We either went back the second year or the third year. I don't remember which year. I think it was the third year. And there was just a few of us. And we're all sitting in a room together, mostly just really glad to see each other, which is also the experience that one has in reciprocity and simultaneousness. There's no history. There's no past to future. There's no future. There's only the now, and the experience of being related, the experience of being part of something, and the experience of being in relationship. Did I say that? Relationship, part of, and operating on behalf of. That's the only experience that we have when we're outside of linear time, which doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Hold on, I got to remember the piece I was supposed to add. Oh, got it. So in that, I remember that I'm pretty sure third year, we're all sitting around just glad to be with each other. And somebody said something, and pretty soon we're all present and part of a communication of we, including they, and including I, that we were spellbound by the end of it. It was totally outside of the framework of reality that we had been accommodating. The other thing that occurred was that because when you leave a place you really love being, you can't stay in the experiential aspect of it. It becomes a memory. So what happens when we go back into a time past to future orientation, first of all, the body goes back into that orientation, but also we go back into the orientation that doesn't allow us to sustain and maintain that so above, so below reciprocal, simultaneous, direct experience, which is available to us at any time. Sorry, which is available to us. I don't have the rest of that. That is I'm in an interaction back here, which is the way it's coming is, which is actually us, which is actually what we are. It isn't available to us, and it doesn't come to us as if it's outside of us. It is what we are. Okay. Okay, Tantramat. Okay, so now I want to open up for any questions or comments or I think one of the ways to think about it is curiosity and quizzicalness, and we'll go from there. We seem to have this steady diet of 30. We go down to 26, 27, and then we do 30 again. How sweet. It's a 3. Go ahead. Deb, anything for you? What did you see out of that?
What I can say for sure is an experience of, I like your term, I resonate with the term biological event. That encapsulates the whole thing. There's a calming. Can't explain it. That's all I can say. Calming. That's it.
And the request of you, Deb, is to actually stop having the object at the end of the sentence.
I don't know what that means.
In other words, it's a coming. I don't know what to say any more than that. That is the any more of that.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Okay, cool.
If we didn't have English, if we just could speak metacognitively, we would just say calming or calm.
Yes.
And there is a little bit different than a subject object. A subject object would be, oh God, sorry for my brain. My body feels calm. So we have a real problem with language because if we could just stop a minute before we assign it something, are you following me? If we could stop it, we would say, oh, the body feels.
Mm,
We'd slow everything down.
mhm.
And maybe the rest of the sentence might be, wow, what I would assign it to is calm. Even though I'm not sure the body would assign it as calm, my register now might be for calm.
Yeah, thank you.
So I
And
think,
also I'm experiencing less tension, if you will, between,
I want you to stay in there is right now. There is.
there is less tension.
That I
There's
would assign as,
what?
just
Oh,
follow
boy.
me. There seems to be less tension that I would assign as,
There seems to be less tension that I would assign as,
and assign it.
okay, more flow. There.
Good. Do you see the difference? Because then the I that is in the dual gets to assign the experience. Do you understand? But there is an experience before the assigning. See, just jump in.
Okay.
Oh.
Are you?
Gotta go to this. Hold on, I got you.
Okay. Something just landed. And there was this, like this gasp of, oh, that's it. Where there was that experience of recognition. The thought came when the first Shasta, or even my first experience in Ireland, where the experience I was assigning was them and me. And what just landed that I'm so moved by is that it wasn't a them and me or them and I, it was an experience of the all. And there's no separation in that. And it could only occur. Okay, this is my thoughts taking me off on a tangent. So
Let me just say one thing in there. We're having to navigate because we're both in the same room. So let me just put in there, then you could assign it a we. So today I assigned the metacognition I'm in is I, they, and we. I assigned it because it gives me access that if I'm only in I, only in we, and only in them, I don't have that meta access. Go ahead.
So as that was being spoken, my heart is just there's such a recognition of this has always been who is here. And I've had these experiences of I that were we. The we self of that I speak of just got ginormously so much bigger and expanded than it seemed I had capacity for before. Complete.
So the only piece I wanted you to take away from this realm of conversation is that the I was never not there, the we was never not there, and the they was never not there. That's the all. And that you get to assign the I, the we, and the they according to what, and this next level, next 50 minutes, and assigning an impact point. So assigning from I, assigning from we, assigning from they, and this can only happen in direct experience. The assigning has to have the experience first. So you remember me years ago, I channeled Tobias and Ariel and the guardian. I channeled them because I didn't want to take on the I of it. So it was they talking through me. I didn't want to assign the we of it because there was an incapableness in the I and in the we that was not insufficient in the they.
The duality has just dropped away within myself. From the world I was born into, it was always them, and here. And it's never been that. It's always we having an experience here.
And what will go in, what will go into we, meaning the metacognitive state of experience that we're all sharing. We means all of us, not the we just simply on this phone. Sorry, on the Zoom call, the we is including everything that is registering from wherever they're registering. And for wherever registering is occurring, better said. So that before I put us in breakout rooms, I want you to know that the reason you're going into breakout rooms, because as near as I can gather from them, they're not registering you get what the breakout rooms provide for them, but it provides listening, that they get to listen in their manner of listening. In other words, the commitment in this conversation is that you have the ability to be metacognitive, and they cannot do that until they can hear from all of you. So we're just going to go to the next break. You have 15 minutes. Actually, I may bring you back before then. We came back at 1:50 and we, no, is that right? 2:10, thank you. And then we will break again at top of the hour. And so it's very small groups, it's 2 to 3 people. And literally allow yourself to share. Literally don't go down the tube of I don't know what to say or my brain stopped. Open your mouth if you have to talk. If you have to say 1 through 10, just say 1 through 10. They don't care what your words are. They need your voice. They need your sound. Thank you.